40 million pounds for Havertz. So you're already losing 24.5 million pounds on Havertz, plus playing the crazy wage. You're not going to recover 40 million for Odegaard because of the wage. So even the big name players you're losing money on because of how high the salary is. That's why at the end of the day, the only person you're going to make money off of is either you sell Dauman, you sell Wanyeri, sell Saka. Saliba, his books are paid for because it was 30 million euros back when. So you'll make money on Saliba. But besides that, you're either breaking even or taking a loss on the player. And really, if you break even, it's still a loss because you still have to pay out the finances for his contracts.
Exactly. You know, look, breaking even makes no sense to me personally. I'm not gonna lie to you. There was another thing Yasser, not Yasser, North said earlier. He said, "Oh, we should have broke even on a curio sale." I'm thinking, bro, if we break even on a curio sale, we're moving exactly the same way under Edu, bro. We're not making no profit and we're breaking even. We need to set a precedent moving forward. And if you're accepting offers that are basically break even for a player that is basically Premier League proven, that's literally showing the exact same attitude as when Edu was here and 10 years ago was here. So you're not making a difference. We have to reject those silly little offers for players like Kiwi.
But bro, I hit bro. You can't sell a Corsa at Ferrari prices. The problem goes down. The problem is not that. The problem is the players that we're flipping recruited, bro. Like, it's the truth though, isn't it? Like, if you got an older model iPhone, there's only so much you can demand for it because it's an older model, isn't it? So this is the problem. The problem came back from when we recruited the player, when we signed the player, and the money that we put the player on. That was the mistake. So now we're trying to rectify a mistake. I hear that you want more money for a player, but you can only sell for the going rate. If I sell my car right now, I have to go on Auto Trader and I have to see what the car of my reg, of my mileage, X, Y, and Z, and the condition, what they're going for. I can say I want 3K more on top of that, 5 grand more on top of that, but that's not the market. We're trying to do that with players that have not been good enough, bro. That's the problem. We're trying to go in, oh, we got a Fiat Punto. Oh, do you know what? I want to sell it for the same price as a Range Rover. It ain't
bro,
working.
I disagree with that, bro. These men are coming in for Kirio. They've come here and said, yo, we want Kirio. So
but
if
they're
you
not,
want
they're
Kirio,
underbidding the price. But that was the best bid that we received for him, which is my point. Nobody's going over that valuation for him because he's not on that level. That's my point. Nobody's overpaying. We're going on like we're I'm not asking Arsenal to, when I say break even, it's because I already know the players are dud. That is why. Do you get me? And we don't have the people inside this club yet to get those players for better money. Bro, we used to be, even look at the way that Crystal Palace were like, yo, we're not buying Nketiah for a certain price. We held on to Nketiah for time because they knew he wasn't that guy. Yep. Do you get me? Yep. Look at the way that Fulham, yeah. We've been trying to sell Reece Nelson to Fulham, yeah. They're like, we are not paying those wages, bro.
But they want him back, bro. They want him back,
bro.
Yeah, but not on £100,000 a week, bro. Reece Nelson don't deserve £100,000 a week if you're telling me Trossard was on 90.
Bro, that's Edu's fault though. That's got nothing to do with Bertha and like the current standing. Like you can't blame Bertha for Reece Nelson being on 100.
Yes, but you can find a way around it.
But we're not blaming Bertha for that. What North said is the transfers for this specific transfer window is Bertha is moving very similar to Edu on how the things are getting done. It's not that we're blaming Bertha for everything that happened beforehand. Bertha has to come in and correct the issue. We all understand that. But the problem is that for him to go and rectify the issue, you can't move the same way as Edu. That's the definition of insanity to keep doing the same thing. Madueke, when was Madueke ever worth 50 million pounds? Let's be honest. When was Madueke ever worth 25 million pounds?
It's the going rate. You have to go with the going rate of the market. You can't
Madueke is never worth 50 million pounds. That low of output for 50 is not worth 50 million.
Bro, could have had 2 involvements less than Madueke.
Okay, if you're talking about the going rate, yeah. If you're talking about the going rate, yeah, why can't we then? But then why can't Bertha be able to sell these players for the going rate? Why can't we sell Martinelli for the going rate then? Because we can flip it back the other way. So if you're saying that you don't want to break even,
you know why we can't sell Martinelli for the going rate? Because he's on 180. Bro, he's on 180 a week, bro. That's not Bertha's fault, bro. That's Edu's fault. Look, one more thing. Even regarding this Edu thing, man, just seen breaking news now. Edu's wants Douglas Luiz to Nottingham Forest. Bro, this guy is doing the exact same thing. He's signing bare Brazilians, taking them to Nottingham Forest, taking them to Arsenal, just giving them whatever they want. Like, it's madness, bro. Edu is a cunt.
The
Bro,
Forest
sorry.
fan won. Forest fans won Douglas Luiz
Yeah.
though. The Forest fans
bro.
won him.
All right, that's Forest fans. We wanted him as well. When Arsenal were in for Douglas Luiz, everyone wanted him. But the issue here, what I'm trying to say is, he's literally doing exactly the same thing what he used to do at Arsenal.
Yeah.
He's
But
going over and
Edu can't do that under Marinakis, bro. He's not the crunky. You know what I'm
That's
saying? He's not a
that's the
crunky,
Greek
bro.
mafia over there.
Yeah. But I'm talking about, if he messes up
That's
too
the
much, he'll
Greek mafia
disappear.
over there.
Yeah. He can't.
We take a loss in a lot of the player sales, innit? So the bare minimum I'll accept for players I know are not good enough is break even, because I know the damage was done before Berta got here. So then at least do that. If you can't do that, then cool. I'm all for us getting more than the valuation of the player. But we did this with Fabi Vieira this transfer window. We received £18 million bid, and he said, no. And this goes to my point. Then he's like, yo, we want 22, 23. Nobody has come in for that valuation. You have to just take the L. Yeah, it's not the biggest L, because we ripped up Tomiyasu's contract, so we received nothing on that. Do you get what I'm saying? It's not the issue that you created, but you're bringing us some funds that we can then use to go forward. Do you get what I'm saying? And then going forward, don't get me a Norgard, don't get me a Kepa, because with Norgards and Kepas, we're going to be back in the same situation. With Madueke's, we're going to be back in the same situation.
Norgard's never leaving Arsenal, by the way. I seen his interview. He was gassed to be there. He never leaving, you know. Man said, yo, 31 Arsenal.
Bro, he was looking at
31 Arsenal are calling you to play Champions League. You never heard that music before, bro. He's staying. But this is the thing. This is the problem, though. This is my thing, yeah. You know, if you look at it, cool, you can break even or even make a loss on a player. But then the other profits that you make cover for that. So we sell 3 players, we might let's say Sterling, we get rid of him for a loss for whatever reason. Even if I think he might end up staying if he doesn't go to any of the other clubs, because we have a similar problems with you. Like when it comes to him, he's on high wages, he wants to stay in London and all that. But I'm saying all the other profits that we make, we can take a loss on this player, or we can take a loss on another player. This is the point. The problem is you haven't just Berta's come in. If you just bought all these talented young players that might be, might have good potential, might be able to help the team at the moment and also be something in the future, cool. You might have a potential asset in terms of, you know what, if it doesn't work out, I might still be able to sell him for a little bit more than I bought him. Right? Similar to what we're doing. The problem is you're getting someone for the highest amount you can get him for that moment in time, let's say in a no guard. And then if he ends up staying and he leaves for free or any of those excuses, you've lost money because you can't sell him for. You're not going to be able to sell Norgard for 20 mil, quick 20 mil when he goes. You can't get any of that for him anymore. Do you get it? That's the problem. And if you take losses, sometimes it's fine if you can cover those losses with the other profits that you bring in. So you have other players that you're selling. If I'm looking around, there's no one on your bench that you could really make money off. Havertz, obviously, with less game time, people are going to know, you know what, we can get Havertz for cheap. Because, well, not cheap, but you get the point. Cheaper than what his value is right now. He's not a starter. He's not going to start ahead of Gyökeres. We might be able to get him out of there because he knows, you know what, he might not start. At some point, he might not be comfortable sitting on the bench for too long. They see it as an opportunity. They don't see it as, you know what, he's a good player. We need him. Let's see if we can pay the money to get him out of there. This is the difference. So they're not going to put more money down. They're going to say, can we get him for less what he's worth because he's not wanted or he's not starting. This is where your negotiation skills are important. And I don't see it.
The problem is Berta's not operating like a true Italian. He needs to go back to He needs to go back to the bookies and learn how to actually run some fucking business. Ain't nobody gonna run a business that's constantly negative like that and wait for the revenue money to come in on the back end. That's the problem with Arsenal. You can't keep betting that you're gonna cheat the system because you ain't beating the fucking system. That's how it always works. It's the same thing. You think you're going to Vegas with $1,000 to walk out with $1 million. The house always wins. You ain't walking out with shit. You're lucky if you keep half of your money. And that's the problem with Arsenal. We're just letting it drain out because we're not smart with it. Well, and honestly, the other problem is Arsenal doesn't do anything that's successful from the other clubs. Again, I said everybody was dogging out Chelsea with what Todd Boehly was doing with spending crazy money. The flip side that everybody didn't pay attention to is Todd Boehly took the brilliant way of dealing with youth academy like how baseball's done. In baseball, Every single team, all the teams have 3 minor league teams underneath there. Every baseball team has anywhere from 120 to 150 scouts. 75 of those scouts is for you to figure out how to get a better player or how to draft properly. The other 75 is what you can move a different player for money so your books are good at the end of the year. That's what Boley's doing with baseball. The only difference is now he has the ability to loan a player out. You can't loan players to any other teams in America. You have to either trade and take a loss or trade up and get cash for it. He's using the system to his advantage. Why can't Arsenal do that? If we have a youth academy, that's churning out 50 to 75 million pounds a year, that means on the flip side, because it's pure profit, you can go and spend 150 million pounds a year to compete with the best. We're doing shoestring budget like some brokies. That's the problem at the end of the day.
Man, it's the Cronkies. It's the Cronkies. I'm sorry. Like, everything goes back to the Cronkies from when they took over this club 20 years ago. Everything stemmed from there, bruv.
Bro, that's only a certain amount. I'm sorry. I'm a Napoli fan, dude. I'm a Napoli fan. I'm not hearing that because here's the thing. I blame the board and the sporting directors more than the Cronkies. Napoli was able to win a Scudetto, win 2 Scudettos in 3 years by barely spending over 500 million euros for